What do you find most rewarding about your practice?
So my practice involves people that need help in court, companies and individuals, and my most rewarding aspect of my career has been really helping people navigate the business litigation process, finding out what their objectives are, and how we can best try to accomplish those objectives in the most efficient manner possible.
What is something your colleagues might be surprised to learn about you?
Well, I had an opportunity during college and after college to travel around the world um, and got to visit 36 or so countries in about a 2 to 3 year period. And that was an extraordinary experience and life changing in many ways. And the travel bug really hit me. And so, whenever I get a chance, I love to get on a plane and go somewhere.
What career accomplishment are you most proud of?
So, in addition to the business results we've achieved for clients, some of my most satisfying experiences have been on the pro bono front, representing people that can't afford to pay a lawyer. And as a couple of examples, I was able to, as a very young lawyer, um, we were asked actually by the court to uh, represent a prisoner in a lawsuit that was already pending in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the court determined that the prisoner could benefit from counsel. So I was asked to, as a I think a first week lawyer, to see if I could help this prisoner who was seeking a kosher diet. He's an Orthodox Jewish prisoner and had been fighting for over 5 years to try to obtain a kosher diet. I knew nothing about the laws of kosher laws or anything of the sort, so I had to educate myself and ultimately got a chance to argue in the Ninth Circuit about whether or not this prisoner should have a kosher diet and whether the prison should be obligated to provide it. And the court agreed that the prisoner should have a kosher diet, and so we got a great result in that case. A more recent example is in an immigration matter. We had a gentleman from Central America who had come across the border after he had been beaten up by the police in his home country, and he sought asylum. And these asylum cases are very difficult to win. But he believed that if he were sent back home, he would suffer persecution from fleeing the country, and he was beat up because he was making political protests at the time. So I worked with a very talented younger lawyer, and she did most of the work, but I was able to supervise and help in that process. And we got a great result. The judge ruled that he was entitled to asylum relief. And what was really interesting and surprising to me was that once you get that result, you really don't know what happens next. And we didn't know. He literally had been in prison, or in detention they call it, for 6 months and had nothing with him. I mean, he came with the clothes on his back and very little else. And turns out and it all worked out great, so I'm able to chuckle about it now, but it was really interesting at the time. I said, so what happens now? And the authorities weren't able to tell me much. But what we learned happened is they put him on a Greyhound bus from Florence to the bus station in Phoenix, and they literally just dropped people off. And this guy didn't know anyone to call, didn't have any money, of course. So I went down to the bus station at 10 o'clock at night, because I heard that there might be a drop-off that night, and waited, and didn't connect with him, didn't see him. But then, amazingly, the next morning I was able to get in touch with him. He called me, actually, which I was hoping he would do. He had made his way to the Greyhound bus station. Somehow we missed each other. It's a very busy place at midnight on a random weeknight. Which was also somewhat surprising. But good news is we got in touch. I was able to take him to Red Robin for lunch, and he had a nice meal. And we took him to Target, and we bought him everything he could possibly need and carry on his back, a backpack and some clothes and some toiletries, etc. And then his only person he knew in this country that he might be able to stay with was in a different state. So then the challenge became, how do we get him to this other state when he didn't have any papers? He couldn't get on a plane. And so we got him on another bus and got him to the other state. And we, of course, were happy to pay for all that. And last I heard, he was doing great. So that was very satisfying.
What advice would you offer to someone who is launching a new firm?
For me, it was really the best thing that I did was, in addition to reading several books on how to start a firm, there's lots of resources out there that you can pick up at any good bookstore. But in addition to that, talking to lawyers who have done it, and asking them what some of the best questions I had for them was, what do you know now that you wished you would have known then? And we're only a few months in, but the advice they gave me, I reached out to lots of different lawyers who left big firms or started small firms fairly early in their career, and everyone had great advice, and everyone was happy to help too. That was really uplifting and encouraging, because people want to see others succeed and want to help you succeed. So my advice to anyone who's thinking about starting a new firm is finding some people that you can talk to who have done it, who you think have done it well, and find out what they can tell you about the process, what things that they that they wish they would have known, and who they should work with to get the law firm started. You're going to need an IT consultant. You're going to need a lawyer to form your company. You're going to need back office support, HR type support. And there's all kinds of great resources out there that you need to find out who's good and as important, who to avoid, and then start talking to those people as well.
What are you looking for when you're hiring someone?
So we're looking for people that obviously have the skill sets that we need filled, but and that's kind of the table stakes or the starting point, which we can sometimes glean a lot of that from the person's CV or resume, at least as background. But we're really looking for people that we can connect with, and that we want to spend a lot of time with, and that we want to have as our colleagues for many years, because we work hard, and we want to make sure that the people we bring on to work as part of our team are going to enjoy the experience working with us, and vice versa. So as an example, for associates or younger lawyers, we're looking for people that not only we have a personal chemistry with, but also are great writers, because much of what we do in the art of persuasion in court is through the written work product. And so we're looking for people that have a strong writing background, or at minimum, a strong willingness to learn how to be better writers. Because all of us have room for improvement. Even now, after doing this for 25 years, I have room for improvement, especially in my writing. And I'm always looking for ways to do that. And that's what we're looking for, the kind of attitude of, okay, let's do this together, let's learn this together, let's make sure we position our client's case in such a manner that it's persuasive to the court. And the best way we do that is through written work product, in addition to the oral argument that sometimes results from that work product.